Right.
John Thornton here, allproblogger.com. Special guest, Joe Goodberry up in New York. You in New York, Joe?
Yeah, just outside Buffalo.
Okay, outside of Buffalo. Bringing Joe on. I know Joe from Twitter. He writes for cincyjungle.com. He has some interesting takes. He follows the draft. He follows the Bengals. He's a Bengals fan. So I thought it would be interesting to get a fan's take and also somebody who knows a lot about the team and the draft. So, Joe, thanks for coming on with me today, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
All right, let me start off. We talked a little bit before we got on here, but how did you become a Bengals fan up there in New York?
Well, most of my family's all Bills fans. And I remember back in the day, my father used to always say the Bills started the no huddle. And I remember my mother had a crush on Boomer. She used to always tell me this. And she would say, no, the Bengals started the no huddle. My brother, he's my older brother, he's a Bills fan. And naturally, I rivaled him in everything. You know, he's a Sabres fan in hockey. I'm a Bruins fan because they're rivals. So I took the Bengals early, not even knowing I'd have a rough first 15 years.
I hear you. That's pretty cool, man. So, just talking about the team right now before we get into the draft. They had a good year in 2009. They didn't finish strong. Came back last year and things just didn't work out from the beginning. Where do you think they are right now? I mean, I know Carson has his issues. That's a big thing hanging over the franchise. But where do you think they are? Do you think they're close? You think they found a quarterback, they'll be okay? I mean, where do you think they are as far as a team?
Well, of course, if they don't have a quarterback, I don't think they're close at all. They're probably one of the worst teams. You saw every team in the playoffs last year either had good quarterbacks or had good quarterback play where the guy is not turning the ball over. The Seahawks probably had the worst quarterback in Matt Hasselbeck, and that's not that bad. He'd be an upgrade for we have nothing right now.
Yeah.
It'd be an upgrade over the backups the Bengals have. So until they have a veteran that they can sign if free agency happens or a quarterback they can draft, they're going to be one of the worst teams until they can address that situation.
Okay, so, right now they can't sign any veterans. The draft will be here in less than 3 weeks. I doubt that the NFL comes to an agreement before the draft, even though there's talk coming out today that, the judge will send them back to mediation. Who knows how long that'll take. But so say we go into the draft. The Bengals have the 4th pick. They have the 35th pick, I think 66 or somewhere. They got some high picks in each round. Where do you see them going in the first round, second, third?
I think if they evaluate a guy and a franchise quarterback is there, that's the key. You just can't take a quarterback because you need a quarterback. He has to be a franchise guy. If there's one there, I don't think you can pass one. I think a franchise quarterback trumps any need you have on your board if a guy's there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if there will be one. I mean, we hear a lot of Cam Newton will probably be the first pick. The closer it gets, it looks like that's what's going to happen. And I've heard, being outside of Buffalo, that they have Marcel Darius and Blaine Gabbert on top of their board. So if Darius goes to Denver at number 2, we expect that also. They would go Gabbert, we think. I mean, you've heard a lot of Von Miller and stuff like that. Like I said, if they evaluate a guy, a franchise guy, they'll take him. So maybe a quarterback's not there. In that case, the top guy on my board is A.J. Green. And I think you have to go that way. I've heard Julio's a better fit. They like him better. Marvin's been asking for a guy that can block, asking for a receiver that can run after the catch. He's been harping on it for 2 or 3 years, maybe even 4 years. So I could understand why people are saying that. But A.J. Green is far and above better than Julio Jones in almost every aspect except maybe blocking.
Mm-hmm. So just talking about the quarterbacks, do you think these guys are franchise guys? I mean, you said find a franchise guy. Do you think these quarterbacks are franchise types?
I think Gabbert can be. I like a lot of things Gabbert did. I watched about 7 or 8 games of his all in a row, broke him down, and really tried to really get into him and see what he was about. Because everyone's watched Cam Newton. He's been on TV every weekend. Mm-hmm. So I knew what he offered as a football player. I can't comment on all the other things because you don't really know unless you're there, unless you know him. Like we've got the report of the guy saying about his fake smile and stuff like that. I don't know about that. Sure, maybe not. But I think Gabbert could be a franchise guy. I think when you watch him play, there's just some special things that happen with the ball. Cam Newton will make a play with his feet or sometimes passing too, but Gabbert just finds a way to fit a ball in there, to just get it on the sideline and just above the first down marker, just to keep his team moving, just enough. And I like that.
Do you see any of Alex Smith in Blaine Gabbert?
I can
The
understand
former
that.
Utah quarterback, same system pretty much.
Right.
A guy that he wasn't a guy that if he was in a class of other quarterbacks would have went number one. I'm talking about Alex Smith.
Right.
Just happened to be that year he went number one over Aaron Rodgers, who everybody thought couldn't play. Do you see any of that in Blaine Gabbert?
Of course, you can
Okay.
understand everything that you just said
Yeah.
is the reasons why Gabbert would not be the first guy if Luck was here. The spread offense, I mean, no running back type of spread. It's a different spread than Cam Newton's. This is five wide. You got a tight end in the slot. You got a move guy who's coming in motion. You're either faking him a handoff. Your back's never turned to the defense on play action. But Alex Smith was a lot smaller of a guy. His arm is definitely not as strong. You see, even though Gabbert's yard per attempt is only like 6.7, I believe, he's got a strong arm. He can really throw it deep. He's not accurate deep, but I think he can work on it. It's his footwork. It's his 3 and 5 step drop. His timing is just a bit off on these deep throws. In the games I watched, he was like 6 of 16 on throws over 35 yards, and they were just landing in front of the receiver. I think it's just repetition, timing, footwork. Alex Smith, I think he had 9-inch hands. That's a problem, and I know playing in different weather that you can't grip the ball that way. It's easy to say that now after Alex Smith hasn't been that good.
Yeah.
But I can see the comparisons, but I think Gabbert would be taken over Alex Smith in the same year.
Okay. Okay. So if you think the quarterbacks will be gone, if it's the quarterbacks going, you say go AJ Green.
Yes, of course. I think AJ Green is, if it's compared between, Patrick Peterson is an option though, because Peterson's number 2 on the board. I think them two are unbustable at some point, because even Peterson, he can move to safety in 2 or 3 years if he doesn't work out at corner. Maybe he's too big. Maybe he can't transition into an NFL cornerback. At safety, I think you're going to end up with a good safety either way. AJ Green, what people got to understand is, I know Julio ran the 4.39, but when you watch him on tape, AJ runs the same. He looks like he's running the 4.4. Well, Julio's running a 4.5.
Yeah.
Once AJ's 15, 20 yards down the field, he's flying. He's flying past corners. Any ball within the area of him, he's going up to get it. He can reach around and get it, go back and get it. It doesn't matter. You just need to throw the ball near him. People say, well, who's going to throw the ball? Build the team. If there's not a quarterback there, build the team. So when you what if they end up with a top 3 pick next year and get a quarterback? The team will be set. The receiving core will be crazy. With AJ on the outside, Shipley in the slot, let Jerome Simpson or Andre Caldwell battle it out for that another side. If one of them pans out, they do. If they don't, they don't. I mean, we're not banking on them anyways right now. And then Jermaine Gresham as a tight end, you got weapons for him.
All right, now that's a plan I agree with. I think that AJ Green, I know a lot of people want defense or Fairley or Bowers or Quinn or one of those guys, but I just think that there's a bigger need, and that matches the value at 4. I think that you'll find elite players in the top 5. I think AJ Green is an elite player. Sure. It'd be hard to pass that up, and they don't have elite players right now in the receiver position. The Bengals don't. I don't think Chad will be on the roster when the season starts. Even if he is, I don't think that they believe in him like they used to. Jerome Simpson is a guy that they wouldn't even play until T.O. popped off in the media, So I just think that they need that stud receiver, and this is the year to get one. So if they go AJ Green at 4, where do you see him going in the second round? What do you think is the need there in the second round, the 35th pick?